Helio. I'm just looking at this. I've got four tabs open, and Jordan Peterson is in the last tab, and I don't know if I get to him, I'll take too much time. So I'm going to need a theme to jump things along quickly. Okay, I'll try and theme up as I go along. Another article on the world's richest, and this time it's the top. So many people, 80 people are as rich as the bottom 3.5 billion or something like that. Quickly, I'll crank myself on. So you might think I'm wasting time, but I'm really cranking things on here. The thing is that the top comment is just one word: obscene. In between, we work out that really Gates, Buffett, Bezos, et al. Are not obscene, but maybe the system that makes them so obscenely wealthy could be obscene. The system could be obscene, but the rich people aren't necessarily obscene. Another comment comes in here. In 1800, about 96% of the world's population lived in absolute poverty. Now the proportion is about 7%. Cut. The system, which might be obscene, has also gone from 96% of the world's population living in absolute poverty to about 7%. Of course, we can argue about those figures and relative poverty and absolute poverty, but the system creates mega loony rich people, but also drags people out of absolute poverty. You can say I'll say they prefer, probably, if asked, not to be starving to death if the when farming, when the harvest fails, they don't starve to death, but they've got to work in sweatshops. I think they'd prefer to work in sweatshops. It's not good, it's not perfect, but no system ever is. Note that where we're going to get to is it's easy to say that they're obscene and kind of hint that if you took the money from here and gave it to here, it'd be better. But the system is not working badly for everybody as a whole. And the people that are going to criticize, do they have what it takes to mold the system in a way that this will make this better when this is being made better anyway? I'm not saying they don't have, but I am saying that from what I've seen, the intellectual rigor of people that do the complaining is not high. And I'm going to, on this second one, reiterate that for a generation, I said 20 years yesterday, this bitch-slapping way of arguing, of just saying something that's nice and winning the argument because what you've said is nice, has basically got out of control. Let's just say that, it's easiest. This one is something about Trump, and this says, I'm no fan of Trump, however, why is it populism when people behave in a manner that you displeases you, and democracy when people behave in a manner that does please you? In other words, Trump being elected is populism, when if Hillary, wasn't it, the other side, if Hillary had got elected, it would have been democracy. But to say it's not democracy, it's populism when it's Trump, is an example of shit. It's not understanding what democracy is. Basically, it's not understanding the facts, and it's just trying to win with weasel words. And they're not even clever weasel words. It's just, look, we've all seen on the television that Trump's not nice, so he must have won by populism. Let's go back to democracy, where somebody that I want to win, Clinton, can win. It's just lying, basically. It's lying. It's not using words like they should be used. What it comes down to is, okay, we get it from this one as well. When more comments have come in, or at least comments have come in on the Bridget Bardot article that I mentioned yesterday. The top comment is, quoting from the article, "The former screen siren's thoughts on harassment in Hollywood are of no interest to anyone." That was obviously from the article. I'll read it again. "The former screen siren's thoughts on harassment in Hollywood are of no interest to anyone. This is the sort of thing that somebody who's not got many facts to make a good argument says. They just say, well, her thoughts are of no interest to anyone." The commenter, top comment, in the left-wing leading Guardian, says they are of such little interest that the whole article has been written to say don't pay attention to them, which seems odd. Down below, that was just kind of a repeat of yesterday's. "She holds opinions so offensive that they are literally illegal. She has been repeatedly fined for inciting racial hatred." And the commenter said, "This is straight out of Orwell. How in the world can an opinion be illegal?" That's a tricky one. The point being that opinions can be dangerous, and expressing your opinions can be dangerous. And it's probably good to stop people, or at least, yes, to stop people as much as you can expressing those opinions if they're going to be dangerous. But we're talking about Bridget Bardot here, expressing opinions, on this occasion, about Hollywood and whatever it is you call it. It doesn't come in this dangerous side, but they're using similar sort of arguments for her on this occasion about molestation in Hollywood. It's wrong. It's basically wrong. It should not be done. It is intellectually weak. It should not be done. But because it sounds nice that you use strong arguments to try to boost your niceness, that models should not be molested in Hollywood, we get a situation where people use bad arguments because what they're doing is weakening this side by using it too much for weaker things over here, when it's needed to be strong. What is needed is rationality in argumentation, that you use strong arguments when you've got a strong problem. You can use strong arguments when you've got a weaker, smaller problem, but you can't use the same words. You've got to be clever. You've got to be reasonable. You've got to be rational, or the whole thing turns into what we've got now, which is a muddled mash. Complete muddled mashup, where total excess words are being used for very small things. And it's done so much that the effectiveness of the strong words have been reduced so much that making a strong argument about a strong problem is now very difficult. And this, okay, oh god, yeah. It's the fourth one is Jordan P. Peterson or something. I've watched a few of his videos on YouTube, and he's obviously a he's got it. He's got intellectual rigour. He's got the facts, his facts, but they're facts, and he can express them very well. He now, even when I saw him on, there's a few people that I could say are like debate like people did, like they did on black and white television. You can have an intellectual argument with them, being clever, using ideas and clever argumentation, it must be said, to have an intellectual debate. How many people or how many instances of this do you now see in modern media? Very, very, very few. It's just a mush of bitch slapping, or it's even worse. It's like fighting with a pussycat. I mean, it's just no intellectual rigour at all. It's based on a few that they think are clever argumentation, or using words which have been borrowed from the past that have power to spray around all over the place. Now the only way to make a strong, rational argument is to be very clever. You've got to be a clever person to understand enough facts to be able to put them together in such a way that they can affect people in a strong way. And basically, it's the same on the listening side, that people have been so conditioned to listening to this excess of wording about minimum sort of situations that they don't even know how to listen to an intellectual argument, let alone have one. Peterson comes along. Apparently he's wiped the floor with somebody on television because he's selling a new book where we've got Peterson's 12 rules, and I might go into those in another video or something. But the fact is, I was about to say like him or hate him. I think the more important thing is most of the people in the world do not have the intellectual ability to evaluate Peterson, because their world has been full of mush. People basically using words badly, arguing badly, and them not learning anything because they are not willing to listen to other people's ideas. What they think when they wake up that day is sufficient for them. It's good enough. Which is the absolutely classic way to go through your life and learn nothing. The way to learn is to wake up in the morning and go, God, I'm a bit of an idiot. I need some new facts. And you get new facts in all through the day. And the next morning you go, I'm a bit of an idiot. I need new facts. If you do that all your life, you might get somewhere. It is the people now that have basically given up on learning. That's it, basically. 14 minutes in. That's what they've done. That's what I see out there, that people have given up on learning. They can get through on what they know, and it's good enough. Nothing will challenge, nothing has to challenge them. They can basically move and dodge away from anything that intellectually challenges them. So they don't need to learn anything new. So they don't.